今集人氣馬場嘅嘉賓係相信好多馬迷嘅偶像，佢曾經喺香港策騎贏過600幾場頭馬，最近佢又翻咗嚟香港喎，究竟有啲咩搞作呢？今集人氣馬場嘅嘉賓高雅志。
So we talk about your riding career. When you were 15, you start to ride and work for your father. Can you tell us something about this?
Yeah, I was always crazy about horses. There was nothing else I wanted to do but be a jockey. From the time I could barely sit on a horse, I did.
Yep.
And I used to ride track work for my dad. From the time I was about 7, I rode all these race horses on a Saturday morning, was the only day I could get there after school. And it was a very nice experience for me. And then I went to the academy when I was 15, and they indentured me to my dad. So he gave me a good start, obviously, gave me opportunities, which is what every jockey needs. The apprenticeship in South Africa is 5 years. And 6 months into my last year in the academy, my dad passed away. So I sort of was left kind of freelance.
Yep.
And in those days, the jockey club had a say with what they wanted to do with you, and they decided that they wanted to move me to Cape Town.
Yep.
And they placed me with a leading trainer there, and wow, he was doing really well, and I thought, this is terrific, what an opportunity.
Yep.
But he had a jockey.
Ah.
So there was no need for him to use me. They were just winning and winning and winning and winning, and here came this little pipsqueak jockey from Durban. Why was he going to give me a chance, And I was really so hungry to try and achieve. And the thing is, when I got to Cape Town, I had a feeling that I was good enough to compete. I believed in my ability to compete against those jockeys in Cape Town. So I wasn't prepared to just sit back and accept a position of nothing.
Yes.
So as soon as I qualified, I went freelance, and I started riding for as many people as I could, and I was working really, really hard. I probably was working the hardest out of all the jockeys there at the time, and things started to happen. I got lucky. I finished up getting an offer from Mr. Millard, Mr.
Yes.
Terence Millard, and well, then my whole career took off, and that was the foundation for everything that I've got today.
One time, there's another trainer want to recruit you to move to another city.
Yeah.
Even you already in the car.
Yeah.
But you said that, no, I have to stay. Really?
You researched that, eh?
Yeah.
It was funny. There was another leading trainer in Johannesburg, a lady called Jean Hemming, and she had a very big owner there, and they got together with me. I'd been traveling midweek meetings and riding for them and winning a lot for them.
Yes.
And they got hold of me and made me an offer. And I kind of thought, well, the racing in Johannesburg is bigger prize money and so on. And I was kind of looking at the dollars and that, and I thought this my next big opportunity.
Yes.
And I spoke to Mr. Millard, and he said, no problem, you want to move on, And I packed up everything.
Yes.
We'd rented a house in Johannesburg, and the furniture removal van came, and we packed up everything, and all the furniture was packed.
Yeah.
And they closed the doors of the furniture removal van, and I was standing on the balcony of my empty house that I just sold, and something just said to me, you can't go. And I looked down at the driver, and I said to him, put it in storage, I'm not going. Then I had to get on the phone and say to Mr. Millard, can I have my job back, please? And he took me back, and the next day I was back at work, like back to normal.
1992 is a kind of life-changing moment for you because you moved to Hong Kong to ride for Brian Ken. So what is it? He approached you to come to Hong Kong, or how it happened?
Well, I got a fax one day from Robin Park, you remember the racing editor, and it said that Brian Ken is looking for a jockey, would I be interested? And seeing that Barty Leisha had ridden for Brian Can before, would I like to, come and take a look?
Yeah.
So I'd actually been here to visit Barty while he was riding here, and I'd met Mr. Can once. So I was pretty keen because I knew it was big racing.
Yes.
So I said, yes, I'd like to, and I flew over and I met Mr. Can, and he showed me his horses and so on, took me to a race meeting.
Yes.
And I mean, it was such a buzz. and the racing is just, it's just so big here and so on, and there's prize money and so on. And I said I wanted to give it a try. So, yeah, it was a couple of months after that, 6 months or so after that I was here. We all know he's tough, and he wants things done his way.
Yeah.
But why not? If he's been multiple champion, he knows what he knows. He knows what he wants, and that's what he gets. He was very fair to me in that. The 1 year I went back to South Africa in the off period and I broke my leg, and I was out for just about a year. He said, don't worry, I'll wait for you. And he had other jockeys here in the interim while I was off. When I was ready, boom, he brought me back.
Yeah.
And I rode for him again, and he just kept on supporting me. I didn't get results with him, unfortunately. We just went through those years, but he kept on putting me on, which I really appreciate. Obviously, at the time, I felt terrible, because I wasn't winning, and no jockey wants that. I was really having a tough time.
Yeah.
Just didn't go well, but there again, it just came back to that my character, that I wanted to achieve something in racing, and I just kept on pressing on. Sometimes when I think back,
Yes.
and I remember coming home, meeting after meeting, week after week, no winner, no winner, no winner, and I think, gee whiz, the fact that I kept on and didn't just throw in the towel, but something just kept on saying to me, keep going.
Yeah. It's very difficult because you're the champion in South Africa, and then when you move to Hong Kong, it seems to not work originally.
And
so,
you know what that feels like?
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's a horrible feeling. You feel like a failure. You feel like how can you not do this?
Yes.
And then of course on the other side is, if you go back to South Africa, you're coming back as a failure.
Yes.
So you've got to work, figure that out in your mind as well. So I guess that was a part of what kept me here too.
Yeah.
But in my career, I'm not shy to talk about those failures, because I think that is what puts me in a good position to share with apprentices.
Yes.
About the ups and downs of racing, and how you have to persevere to go after that goal.
Yes.
Because if you do persevere for it in the right way, it'll come. You'll get there.
So then you work with David Hill, and then you pair with Tony Cruz.
The first time I ever saw Tony Cruz was in the 1980s when he was riding in England. And I obviously had heard about his name and so on, and I bumped into him once, and I think all I said was hello. Then we raced, and then after that I'd heard about him with when Barty was in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
That he was challenging with Barty, and after that, when I came to Hong Kong, he was riding. So we rode against each other a bit, and he was always very, very nice to me and very friendly, which I appreciated. But as the day he retired, or the day after he retired, I went to go and visit him.
Yeah.
And I asked him, for some help and advice,
Yeah.
which he just offered me straight away. And I really appreciated that. He was so hospitable. I walked into his house, I'll never forget, and he poured me an espresso, and we sat there and we chatted. And he put me on his equisizer, and he was showing me things on his. This is on the first time I asked him,
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So he gave me a lot of help. And you know, I asked him one or two things after that as well. But then he went away and he came back as a trainer. And he had a couple, Dougie rode for him, Douglas White rode for him, Eric St. Martin rode for him. I think he had a year free, you know, his first year was freelance as well. So then there was 1 year that he didn't have he hadn't signed on a jockey. And I'd had the fall and I was lying in hospital and he came to visit. And I wasn't feeling too good about myself, you know, me lying on my back and him coming to visit me and that. And he said to me, Felix, I believe you've got no contract for next season. So I said, no, I thought maybe I'd have to go back home or something, you know. So he said, well, I think you come and ride for me. Gee whiz, you know. And I don't think I slept that night. Because I thought,
too excited.
I wonder if he really means it, you know. But that's the thing about Tony Cruz. If he says something, that's it. You know, he sticks to his word. If he says he'll do something, he doesn't. And that's a wonderful thing about Tony.